You're listening to Morning Light on Winnipeg's Classic 107. My name is Simon Rusnak. A new initiative by the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra and Desautels Faculty of Music should shed light on some of the murkier details in the life of a professional musician. On a High Note debuts today a digital conversation series, and to tell us more about it, I'm joined by WSO Assistant Conductor Naomi Wu. Hello, Naomi.
Hi, Simon.
Oh, well, it's great to connect with you. Tell us how this idea came about.
This is definitely an initiative that was spearheaded by the Desautels Faculty of Music at the University of Manitoba through Victoria Sparks, who's the percussion instructor, and Jackie Dawson, who is the band instructor. And the idea is to especially give students a sense of what might be in store for them if they decide to pursue careers in music. But we think it'll also be really interesting for the general public too. So often what you see of music is just the finished product, the concert. And this gives a sense of some of the behind the scenes.
Oh, I mean, it sounds absolutely fascinating. It really does. Can you talk a bit about the format? It's going to be a digital conversation presented on YouTube. Is that right?
Exactly. So some of these are pre-recorded conversations. Some of them will be happening live. They're all happening on Zoom. We're all in our separate homes. And, you know, the musicians who are talking are also really enjoying the chance to connect with each other on some of these topics too. I've had conversations with people who I might not otherwise have spoken about these things with.
So of course you're going to be there hosting on a High Note. Who else will be joining you in the conversations?
Well, it's a real mix, and that's one of the things that I think is going to be really nice about this series. The series launches, as you say, it's Tuesday on the Desautels YouTube page, but they're going to be running every Tuesday and Thursday until the end of the school year. So Tuesday and Thursday, there's going to be new videos, and today starts with a conversation about auditions, which I think will be very interesting, especially to students who might be thinking themselves about auditioning for university. That will be hosted by Jackie Dawson, and we have Keith Durda, Mike Kemp, and Mina Chung. So representatives from both the University of Manitoba and the WSO talking about this.
And of course, there's a great overlap between the WSO and the Desautels Faculty of Music, as many of the players in the Winnipeg Symphony Orchestra also teach at the Faculty of Music.
Exactly, myself included. And
Yeah.
so that's been one of the really wonderful things too, is to really build on this collaboration that we have between these two institutions.
And so you're going to be getting all these different perspectives from the musical world. And one of the things you just touched on is, you know, grad can be a very joyous time, but perhaps an uncertain one. Current pandemic aside, that the next steps after graduating, like you say, could take you in any number of directions. It could be further studies, it could be formal auditions, gap years, maybe you end up with something else entirely. What kind of questions are you hoping to field? Is there something where you're like, oh, I really need to tell someone about this because if I could just talk to myself, this is something I think I would like to know?
Well, I think right now we're in this moment where the future is very uncertain for all of us. So I think on the one hand, it's a really exciting opportunity to think creatively about the future and to really imagine different possibilities. And I think it's also a really exciting opportunity to think about what it is about music that enables us to think creatively about solutions. And something that's come up in these conversations is that musicians, especially orchestral musicians, are expert collaborators. They build their careers on working with other people. That's something we need to do when there are complicated problems to solve. Musicians are also expert at thinking creatively, at trying new things, at working through problems. And so I think thinking about the ways that music can be really useful for us in this time is something really useful.
And I think we're really seeing that creativity flourish now. I mean, we're seeing people perform for their neighbors on balconies, and there's all sorts of Zoom recitals that have been going on as well. So we are getting a glimpse of that creativity. And I imagine you'll be talking more about that in this series. I mean, it sounds really exciting with all those different perspectives, because it's not just about the perspective of the musicians as well, right? It's kind of music in the broader context of society too.
Absolutely. And, you know, I think this getting behind the scenes is something that's really important too, because we're used to seeing professional musicians putting on their beautiful finished product and performance, but there's actually a lot of failure that goes on behind the scenes. And one of the conversations I was a part of is one about career paths in music and how much a career path in music isn't necessarily something straightforward. It can seem like that when you're looking at someone successful and thinking, wow, they just made it there. But actually, there's so much meandering that happens. And right now, we're all meandering a little bit. So recognizing that failure, that problems are also a really essential part of what it is to build any career, including a career in music, I think is an important discussion to have.
We talked about students fielding questions, and there are going to be some that are pre-recorded. There's going to be others that people can ask live, and you mentioned not just for students though, for the regular concert goer as well. They might get some valuable insight. Can people comment and add questions while the conversation is going on if they're just finding out about this now?
Absolutely. Please feel free to leave comments on the YouTube channel. Let us know what you'd like us to talk about in the future. There's many more conversations to come. And there's also ways to write us at the Desautels Faculty of Music if you have a really burning question that you want us to cover. So we really look forward to hearing from you and talking to you, even though it's not in person as we would like it to be.
Oh, it sounds like such a fantastic idea, Naomi. And I want to thank you so much for sharing some of the details with us here at Classic 107.
Thank you, Simon.
On a High Note premieres today on the Desautels Faculty of Music YouTube page, and we've got all the links on the Classic 107 website, classic107.com.